Good
We are now
morning.
live.
Hey,
Good morning, Kenji.
good morning.
Frank, how you doing, brother? Hi, Zippy.
Hey, you guys, I'm so good. I'm happy. This is a great morning.
Awesome, awesome.
Awesome.
Zippy, Tony, how are you doing?
We are well. How are you guys doing? How are you, Frank? Kenji?
We're good. We're good. Personally, I'm excited because of what we're going to be talking about today. So we'll be talking about business recovery plans 2020. So you guys understand, everyone understands the season we are in. COVID has really hit, and many guys have struggled through the season. But now we're not going to talk hacks. A lot of guys are talking hacks. But now we're going to talk about how do you recover and expand, because I feel that people have gotten good training over the season. People have learned to be lean. People have learned to be innovative.
True.
But now we're seeing even there's a shift in how guys have adopted this new normal. I think that there's nothing like after COVID. This is it. This is it, man. There's nothing like at now we'll revert to something else. No, guys are just adapting to the new change. What do you guys feel?
I think one of the things we have to remember is we will always fall or falter, but it's about what you do with that. It's about how you get up and collect the pieces and move on. And like you said, it's true. We are going back to our normal way of doing things. But the fact is, COVID has not ended, but life has to go on. So the question is, how do we go on? How do we recover from what hit us a few months back and make sure our businesses are sustainable?
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Yes, if I could also add to that, somebody said that there is nothing, as you've just said, there is nothing like post-COVID. Post-COVID, as in COVID has gone and now we're back to where we were before. The matter of fact is we've got to adjust. As businesses, as individuals, as couples, as families, as a nation, we've got to adjust quickly. And you've alluded to the fact that people are adjusting, but the process of adjusting will not be, it's not just over the last 2 months where we've been in a partial lockdown. It's a process where it will take, the adjustment will probably take until the end of 2019, entering 2020. 2020 going to 2021. Reason being, there are variables that we do not know. Even governments across the world are still adapting as they go. So you can imagine for business people having to adjust, afresh. Things have, supply chains have been disrupted in a big way. Issues to do with health, issues to do with schooling, because businesses are run by people who live normal lives. They have families, they have children, they have old parents they have to take care of, they have obligations that they have to meet. So it's a fluid situation that we are going slowly, looking for ways to adapt. So the people, our stand is that those who adjust quickly and nimbly are the ones that are going to survive this new normal.
I like what you said, and what I'm also seeing is, as people are also adjusted to the new normal, guys are also beginning to find new ways of partnership. Have you guys seen guys are being creative with how they collaborate? They're like, hey, I can't do this. This used to be like a huge expense for me.
Yes.
How about we collaborate, we share the cost? Are you seeing some innovation around collaboration?
Well, I can say yes, that's true. The issue of collaboration has come up. I like using the example of the people who are in the fast-moving consumer goods, and people like in restaurants and all that. where previously everything was in silos, where if I have a restaurant and I'm running my restaurant, that's it. I have nothing to do with the person who is doing deliveries. We would use in-house deliveries to do all that. But now the last 1 or 2 months, especially from now we're in June, from around April towards May, some of these people in the hospitality industry became very innovative. Get somebody who has a tuk-tuk or a boda and tell him, look, I have customers who cannot come to the restaurant because of social distancing, but they still need the food that we normally provide, the fast foods in particular. So some have innovated to start collaborating with people who do deliveries through motorbikes, and where you produce the food, you get somebody whom you've given him an itinerary of where to run to deliver your produce to clients, and you're able now to strike a partnership where if they adjust to the needs of the restaurant in terms of cleanliness, getting the proper kind of containers to do that kind of delivery, then that partnership comes in. So the person doing the deliveries and the restaurant both share the costs of doing so, and both benefit with increased business.
Oh, nice. And Frank, what are some of the lessons you've learned through this season? It's been interesting, but now we've seen a lot of changes. What have you seen in the entrepreneurship space? Is Frank still with us? His photo looks like he's hung. Or maybe Zipporah, you can just maybe respond to that.
Yes,
because I know
so
even in the
I didn't
get
the question.
Oh, sorry. So Frank, what I was asking is, what are some of the lessons you've learned as an entrepreneur? He's dropped again.
We have lost Frank, but I can respond as Frank comes back. What for sure I know is that, like Anthony has said, we cannot continue running businesses in silos. And some of the lessons I have learned is you cannot be rigid in the way you do things. You have to be very flexible to new changes, to new ideas. And one of the things, again, I'm learning is the customer is having a major voice right now. The customer is having a lot of options right now. And this is coming with a lot of businesses realizing they need to go online and having a strong online presence. So you're finding that a customer is no longer just running to you, but they have options. So you need to actually be able to deliver to the customer, or be able to go to the customer more or less at their convenience. Yes, give them value, but also serve them. It's no longer about serving your business, but serving the customer. So there's a lot of lessons actually to learn from this season.
So what you're saying is, right now, customers become king. All our efforts are focused on serving the customer at their convenience.
Yes.
And not just even convenient, even at their own time. Not just in terms of how to get the goods or services at their doorstep, but in their own time. When they want it at midnight, you're there to serve them. I've also seen that with the logistic companies. Those guys have become more, let me say, responsive, unlike before. Right now, they're really meeting the customer. Frank, welcome back. We had lost you for a minute. You're here with us?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So first, let me just make a comment. I really like what Tony was talking about. And one of the things that I see as an interesting conversation that's going to happen is immediately we go back fully to work. Of course, with all the changes we're going to do, one of the things is I feel I'll call it the removing of the carpet. From the carpet is going to be removed. and the real hits to the economy are going to start coming. And I'll give you an example. Maybe you had debts, and your debtors are now not going to wait. They're going to start banging the door for what they want. The bank is going to remove the grace from asking for what. So what you're likely to see is, I'm concerned that we may have a new wave of difficulty coming in when the grace or the niceness of people dealing with each other during COVID, when that comes off, it's like gloves are going to come off, and there may be some difficult decisions to make, because it will be hard to sustain certain types of contracts. This is when we've been saying some businesses will close. This is when those businesses really close. This is that time. And so for me, that this is an important time to be aware of this wave that's possibly going to be released over this time. And I know that after this wave, then we're gonna start seeing some great things beginning to happen. But that's just one of those things. So talk partnership. This is the time to find somebody else who needs what you have and you need what they have, and come together to ensure that you can sustain both your clients. So you can actually build a bigger clientele. It's a huge opportunity in partnership here. But the key is, if you anticipate, you see a punch that comes to hit you, Kenji, when you don't anticipate it, then that punch can easily knock you out.
Yeah.
But when you see Tony is throwing this punch, and I'm talking between me and him, not him and Zippy. So when that punch is coming, then I'm able. It's like you, they say, yeah, you're able to get that hit. And so this anticipation of COVID is over, and oh, it's all great, let's go party and drink and what. That's what can really hurt you. My view is, anticipate that some things can be very tough now, and that anticipation allows you some of the options we're beginning to talk about is partnership. Then we can start to get into some strategic conversations. Yeah.
Wow. That's a big one. That's a big one.
Very true.
Anticipating the punch, you know. What do they say? Is it roll with the punches? You know. Again, you know, there's something else I've come to see. And Frank, I know you're a witness to this, because there's a lot of digital acceleration. We've seen businesses outsourcing in cheaper markets. Yeah. So now, because of globalization, you'd find in the US market, labor is very expensive. If they need a service, they will not look for that service in the US. They'll look for that service in a cheaper market. They'll go to Asia or Africa. And even for us, some of the services that are really expensive here, we can get them in cheaper markets. I've also seen an acceleration of outsourcing in other markets. Have you guys seen the same? And that for me was a big thing. I've just seen it's a way guys are innovating to stay afloat and keep their costs lean. Yeah. But maybe Tony, you can tell us also some of the lessons that you've learned, or some of the trends that you've seen so far, and how people are adapting to them as we move into our topic of the day, recovery plans. And also there's a comment by George as we continue to talk.
Sure. All right. If I could continue, just to give an issue of a response to what you've asked about how people are recovering, how adopting and recovering. When you look, I used the example previously of the fast-moving consumer goods. I'm also looking at people who are in manufacturing, for example. I was talking to my partner the other day, and I was telling her companies will have to find a way if the demand for their products have gone down. For example, you are in plastics. I saw the other day the government has decided, among other things, to ban single-use plastics, things like straws and plastic cups and plates. Now, that may not have been affected because of COVID, but that is now what Frank is talking about, the issue of a punch coming. People in that sector probably were not even ready for something like that on top of COVID. Having the fact that, for example, straws, the people who manufacture straws, the demand for such products has gone low because of social distancing and all that. Now, on top of that, you have the government deciding because of issues of environment, then we have to ban plastic plates, plastic cups, straws, and all. Now, that is a double whammy in the way they call it. Now, for a company in that sector, yes, the production lines may have been set for producing single-use plastics. Now, is there a way such a company can find a way to readjust? It's beyond shedding off workers, beyond deciding now this can't work, shutting down production processes. Is there a way you can adapt from producing of straws and plastic plates and plastic cups? Are there other products that you can use with the same production lines? If there is none, is there a way you can be what you've just described? Be the manufacturer, this cheap manufacturer of goods that are sourced in places like Europe, in the United States. I have a friend of mine who was telling me, actually it's a relative, he was telling me the way when he put his CV on LinkedIn on what he specialized in, within hours he had gotten 3 Indian software manufacturers asking him, can you be the one who can distribute these products in Kenya? I mean, he put his LinkedIn CV, he put his CV on LinkedIn, what he does and all that. Early in the morning, by around 4 in the afternoon, he had gotten 3 or 4 Indian companies, software companies, asking him, can you be the one who is distributing our products in Kenya? And he was telling me the interest has continued to a place where now he's having to sit down and think, now what options do I take? So you can imagine if you're a manufacturer of these single-use plastics. I'm using them because I can feel their pain. You had a production line producing all these things. You had supermarkets and other retailers who are demanding your goods, because these are fast-moving consumer goods. But now, government directive, you have to stop producing these things. Now you're facing ruin if you don't adapt very quickly. So you have got to be nimble. Do you become a manufacturer of other things for the same things? For example, for a producer in China or in the United States or Europe, or do you look for other ways that you can realign your processes to produce goods that are still in demand here in Kenya? So that is the game that business people, entrepreneurs will have to now keep playing the rest of this year and and in 2021, dealing with COVID and dealing with government regulation, among others.
I like that. So let me just touch on the point you mentioned about guys being hired across the globe, And for me, that's an interesting dynamic because I'm seeing employers, because I've been a witness to it. We also were trying to hire a developer, and we put out the job description and the post out on LinkedIn, and we got entrances from India, and we are just thinking, hey, as employers, how do we manage an Indian developer? How does that work? Because we're used to our local circles within Kenya, at least farthest would be maybe East Africa, but even we are still not yet used to hiring globally. But Zipporah, if you can touch on that, what does that mean for an employer? Are employers thinking differently in terms of global hiring? Are there any maybe things to look out when they are trying to hire from across the globe? And also the questions coming in even as we answer. Frank, I'm going to throw this question at you so that after Zippy answers, you'll be next.
I think what I can say, Kenshi, most of us employers may not be thinking globally in terms of hiring, but these disruptions are going to throw us out into the deep end, and we'll have to start rethinking our strategy, our hiring plans. What is it that we are looking for? When you talked about running an advert and getting applications from all over the globe, I mean, we must admit some of the best developers we will get, actually, you'll get them from India, and that's a fact. Most of the softwares we use here, we get them from there, and you'll find, yes, we'll customize them to use them in our own country depending on our laws, but most of them are actually done from that part of the world. So you will start realizing, depending on the specialty you're looking for, you might need to start thinking out of the box. Yes, we need to create employment for our own local people, but again, we have to rethink our business strategies and what it is that we need to achieve within this certain period of time. And it kind of makes me wonder, even in terms of the employment regulations, you know, how the government will handle this, because like we are saying, we are moving to globalization. We are going to start hiring people to work online and all these kind of things. So there's a whole ball game to think about here, including actually government regulation on how we are going to handle this.
Wow, fantastic! That's good response. And Frank, what do you think about homeschooling and parenting? Because I'm seeing this conversation is taking a different tangent. Now questions and comments are coming, so we have to address them before we move to our topic.
Yeah, so very interesting conversation here about what trends are likely to hit us because of what, 2-3 months of being home and life had to continue. So one of the things, of course, was education for our kids had to continue. Otherwise, by the way, they will have killed us. We had to make sure they're busy. So we had to make sure our kids, and what's the effect of that? So one of the interesting things is parents have gotten used to being involved in their children's education. Some people have realized, oh, their education has been fantastic. And others have realized, oh, my child actually has no clue about what I thought they had. And so there's all kinds of things that have gone on there. And based on that, again, there are parents who've lost jobs and they have been training their kids. And so it's possible we may see a growth in the homeschooling world. It's possible, at least in the short term, as people recover financially and that. So that's actually a possibility. If I was a business that is in this area, I would more think like, instead of fighting this, if it's a possibility, is can I offer solutions to this parent? Can I turn this parent to a customer? And if I can do that, then I still have this parent as my customer, because some parents are not confident, or they don't have the content, they don't have a curriculum to follow. And if you keep giving them an online solution or something like that, or support where you train both the parent and help with, it's also an empowering, you're telling the parent you can do this. So there's that place where as a school or as a teacher, you still have relevance over. On the other hand, I am also concerned, will it be very long term? Maybe not, because government wants to control the education process. And so we know that government we don't have a law that says you can't homeschool, but we also don't have a law that says you can go ahead and do it. So it's been a murky area, so government regulation authorities may come in and control that more, so that they can control the outcome more. And so it may also not be very long term. So you must be careful if it's going to be a long term. But after this George Floyd thing, again, governments are being controlled by people. So if this thing becomes very big, if the homeschool thing becomes very big and government tries to come and clamp down on it, then you have a social eruption. Again, why a social eruption? People have been constrained and all that, and now it's more easier for people to explode than before because they're going through tough things, and if government just moves in to control that. So this is actually an interesting place to, from a strategic point of view. So in my view, if you're a teacher, if you're a school, this online solution is probably not a bad thing to have a very good solution. And this is a good place to partner. This is a place to say, hey, we are 3-4 teachers, we have no jobs, can we provide this solution? Or if you're a school and you're out there, you can say, oh guys, can we get someone who's giving us solutions? Let's work together, let's provide a very robust solution to the market. So for me, this is a nice, actually it's a nice place to watch what happens. In the meantime, me and Grace continue to homeschool.
Wow. Wisdom, I'm telling you, that's such a pool of wisdom. And Frank, I've also been a witness to how parents are pivoting to homeschooling. And even for us, like we were on a path we were trying to look for a school for our daughter because she's transitioning into primary, and COVID has just wiped out our plans. We are thinking differently in terms of even the nature and the type of school that we want. I keep saying homeschooling is also a calling. Like sometimes I find you just can't just jump in and just decide to homeschool your child, but we all have our different opinions. But for me, I'm looking for a school that first is digitally savvy, because I don't want another pandemic to hit and my child has lost a whole years of education. You get so and I see the space for innovators to come in and create solutions. Like it's such a big area. Education is huge. Guys, there are a lot of comments coming in, and some are for stay-at-home moms. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm saying. There's also I think it's Shireen. She's asking about the hospitality business.
Yes.
I don't know, Tony, do you want to take this one? This is
yes,
this is a good one.
Yes, I saw that one about the hospitality space, and about customers shying away from being hotels as a measure of protecting themselves from this pandemic. And what advice do they have for the hotel industry? Now, we have, as Aurum consultants, and previously, in our business as consultants, we found ourselves dealing with the hospitality space, where we're either providing them with advice concerning, how they are running their business, supplies of fabric and all, and also hiring of staff. Now, I would imagine if I'm in this hospitality space, this is a period, this is like a season where, because of social distancing and the illness and social distancing and preventing of the spread of the disease, in the immediate term, as we have seen across the world, the hospitality industry has really been hit hard by travel advisories, by governments preventing airlines from flying across the world and all that. But now we are starting again to see the relaxation of such restrictions, where now slowly by slowly the tourism industry across the world is starting to pick up. Although the effects of the lockdowns, especially in Europe, North America, Asia, and even here in Africa, the effects will continue up to sometime next year, and therefore the hospitality industry will be hit hard not because they did not innovate well enough, not because they did not plan well, it's just because of the nature of their job. But going forward, just as with schools, there's still a place for hospitality and especially hotels to innovate and rebrand themselves to a place where they can specifically target clients who do not necessarily, they have the resources, they do not necessarily just want to go to a home somewhere. Somebody has opened up their homes and they look nice and all. Somebody wants to go and not worry about cooking, not worry about anything. They just want to go to a hotel, enter, be served breakfast, go to the pool. If it's some of the hotels that we have here in our game reserves, they want to get a game drive, go. That one I don't think will end, as much as there is the issue of COVID and safety and all that. So for such institutions, having that kind of client who does not want to go to a home, they want to experience, just bring their bags, put them down there, not worry about the washing of their laundry, not worry about cooking, not worry about all that, then the hotels will need to cater for such clients in terms of how do we assure them that we are taking care of their health, in terms of sanitization, in terms of spacing, social distancing, in terms of making sure that our food is good. Because one of the things that people complain about hotels is that people go and eat recycled stuff, food that if it's buffet, it's been staying for a number of days. So hotels like that could find a way to assure their clients that our food is organic, it's made, it's fresh, it's made to order. We are following strictly sanitary requirements that are there, that have been put in place by government. And thirdly, coming to us, we will take the strictest measures possible to assure the health and safety of our workers. Because the advantage that hotels have over people who have their homes that they open up is the issue again of risk. Because when you think about it, when you go to a hotel, if something happens to you in that hotel, the hotel has presumably taken the necessary insurance policies to cater for themselves for liabilities that arise with such. Liabilities that come from getting injured when you're there, liabilities that come from illness and diseases. But now, somebody opening up their home most likely did not think about that. For them, you come, you find my home, use it. If there are issues in here, it's all up to you. If you fall, if you get injured while living here, if something happens, there's a flood, there's what, that's up to you for most part. But you see, a hotel, that is standard. Whether they have taken care of their staff in terms of insuring them, they have taken care of their public liability, they have taken care of their standards in terms of foods, in terms of drinks, in terms of taking care of their facilities. That is what now hotel owners can really hit at and say, we don't not only take care of your sanitation, but even the other liabilities that you may incur when you're with us, we have taken care of that. We are providing you a wholesome solution that deals with your safety when you're with us. Your food is assured, your laundry, your taking care of your whatever you're coming with is taken care of to the highest standard. So with that, they'll be able to differentiate themselves even more from these other options that people have of vacationing. Yes, there's a place for them.
Totally agree. I've seen actually restaurants have started to open up, and they've taken a lot of sanitary measures. Like now they have that thermometer over your head every time you walk in. There are many sanitation places. Also the tables have been rearranged differently. So yeah, I can see guys have really restructured themselves in the hospitality industry, and I'm just eager to see what other kind of models they're going to create to keep guys safe, because safety comes first. So I'd like us to tip into employees and employers, because Zipporah, majority of your followers, especially on Aurum, are interested in this employment space, and a lot of people have lost jobs. I've had friends who they've gone for unpaid leave for about 2 months, and then they were dropped off. They're told now even the company seems like it's not going to recover anytime soon. So we have to let you go. So let's start first with employers. Do employers have any options while engaging staff during this recovery period? Do they have any options, or let me say, are there any other alternatives to staffing?
Let me first start by saying, assuming these are employers who already have staff in place, and they found themselves in this COVID situation where business has gone down, and we've touched like with the hospitality industry, which was hit hard by this situation. Yes, they have options, but the options have to be within the confines of the law. Because if you've given me a contract and the business is doing not so well, then there needs to be a place of dialogue between the employer and the employee. And a lot of mistakes employers we make is when I realize my business is struggling, my first option is I want to terminate my employees. And that might not always be the best solution. Because remember, we are starting to come back to normal, and if you're going to survive, you will still need these employees. So one of the options employers can look at is, can we renegotiate our contractual agreement with employees? And you'll realize employees are very understanding because they've gone through this season, they're suffering as well, they're seeing there's no money coming in. So there's a place of renegotiating those contracts. But again, I must say, if you're going to get to that place of having to renegotiate contracts with your employees, then you have to have consent from the employee and you have to have it documented. Otherwise, it will start becoming a challenge for you later if it was not documented and it was not very clear. If you are not sure how to go about this, we have HR professionals, we have legal advisors who can help you navigate this season.
Wow, thanks Zippy. I think employers now have a better, let me say, knowledge base to engage their clients. I mean their employees. And what happens to the employee right now? Because I've also realized that some of them are also losing hope in their employers. I mean, you can't keep me pending for 3 months. You know, yes, I understand the situation, but can I just go and do something else? Are employers also flexible enough for employees to engage in other activities with other employers because you're not able to pay them? Or do you still want them to stay loyal to your particular organization, yet they're on unpaid leave? Is it yeah?
Let me say, for those of us who might have sent employees on unpaid leave for 60 days and 90 days, I think it would be very unrealistic as an employer if I don't expect the employee to try and do something else to put food on that table. Because you have to remember, you send them away with nothing to spend for their families. And again, it's a very thin line, okay? And to the employee, I might be at the place where I am weighing my options. If this job is not going to be coming back, then what options do I have? And I will refer to what Frank said earlier. You know, if I'm seeing a punch coming, then I will start putting measures in place to safeguard myself. So as an employee, I've been sent away for 3 months. I might need to start thinking of what other options do I have. Do I need to start a small kiosk? Do I need to start selling skooma to support my own family? So again, I think it would be very unrealistic for an employer to send employees away for 3 months and again expect that employee not to do something to fend for their family. There needs to be some sort of a flexibility. And again, these are the loopholes again we're finding in our labor laws, because again, this is something that is not covered. It's a new one for us. Again, it will also probably start advising how we need to engage our employees going forward and what things do we need to put into the contract. Like in the event there's a disruption, then how are we going to handle our contractual agreement?
Nice. I totally agree. Contracts here are a big deal.
Yeah.
Many people, and especially in the SME space, we kind of are very wishy-washy with contracts. Like, you know, we have a contract to say we have a contract, but we don't take note of the fine print, and we don't follow to detail the terms and conditions of those contracts. And I think it's high time that people need to start honoring contracts, and especially small businesses, because I think it puts them in a better position even legally. But let me tip over to Frank, and just Frank. Now we are talking about recovery plans. Yeah. Many guys are at the position where they're thinking, okay, my reserves have been wiped out. I don't have really clients. I don't know where to start, but I know also God has a plan for my business. I mean, just because a pandemic came doesn't mean I need to shut down. It could be my wilderness story. This could be the time my let me say everything that I have and need is being tested, and my faith as well. So what would you tell a business that is on the path of recovery? What things do they need to do, or how can they position themselves at least to improve on their bottom line and just pick up on the business?
Fantastic. First of all, I like to say there are things that are dying that need to die. If there's a lesson I've learned in COVID, is there are things that need to go. But Kenji, are you seeing my face? I feel like a lot of weight has died. Yeah, and so there's extra weight that we were carrying that we don't need to continue to carry. Let it go. There are friends. There's social conversations. There's things we were doing that don't need to come. So don't go and pick that baggage back. If that baggage disappeared over this time, let it go. And if there's more that needs to go, let it go. Because where you're going, obviously, if you didn't need it this far, then it's not part of where you should be going. So there are those things that we need to go. And then there are those things that we need to start learning to do. There's new stuff, there's things you've tested around this time, you're seeing it's working, it's going well. I have this client who, what he's done now is, his business has not collapsed, but it is on hold. But what they've started to do, they've pivoted into a new area. Now, in the new area they've pivoted into, what's amazing is they've realized, oh, this is working. So guess what part of their strategy is? This was going to be in their 5th year plan. They've moved that plan from the 5th year to next year. So right now they're putting new delis. They're doing their plan is what they discovered during COVID. There's a market for this, so they are ready to go for it. And so I'm saying, if there's something that's been working for you, do it. One of the things I have learned now is to exist within a business community. Now, please don't, and a community doesn't mean you're part of a WhatsApp group. A WhatsApp group can support community. But community is actually, by the way, community is just a place where you have real conversations, real talk, where you can get real advice. It's like a peer coaching space. By the way, did you guys know that over 80% right now of how is that statistic? Let me read it again. We have over 84% of customers are able to trust referral systems. Now, what is a better place than somebody talking about Aurum? They say Frank has experienced Aurum and wants to sell Kenji. Aurum can really do this. If there's something that can help you get referrals, is being part of a community. Being part of a community is so critical for a business person now. And so in a big way, it's part of our 10, 20 people, 30 people, but it is also being a community from a one-on-one basis, where we were talking about partnership before. Again, that's also a level of community. But I'm saying we've got to find working communities where we can get up. Look, the other day, just this time, I have this client I've just introduced to the new model of how to buy fruits for their business that is in juice making. And it's just the community says, hey, there's this thing going on, can you try it? So I keep talking to my clients of what's going on. And as people share, guess what? We all move up. And so it's critical we remain, we help build and remain in communities that can help us.
Wow. Hey, Frank, prophet in the marketplace. That's powerful. Community is powerful. I'm also a witness to it. I mean, majority of the clientele that I've gotten has just been within my community. I mean, there's so much we try and do to, market and put our brands out there so we get more business. But truly, community is powerful. Word of mouth will never die, ever. Yes. It's still the most powerful marketing tool, without a doubt. Even if you put dollars upon dollars into your posts, they can't beat the backing of someone else who's been a witness. Guys, we are coming to the end of our session. This has been really good. It's been our first time doing live. Frank is the veteran, so congratulations to us, Zipporah. But I think what's
been amazing. You guys were amazing.
Yeah, this has been an amazing panel. In fact, I'm looking forward to more conversations like this. It's just easy, relaxed, and we get to exchange ideas and learn from each other. But what would be your parting shot? As we leave, my friends on Facebook. I mean, there's so many comments coming in that maybe we can't respond to. But thank you, Mwende. Mwende says it is powerful. Let it go. Frank, I think you mentioned that many people are holding on to things that are not working. Just let it go. That's powerful. Also, Rebecca says, well done, Zipporah Mbula and team. That's for you, team. What Flo is saying, hey, Kimodo, come huku. Who is that?
Another friend calling another friend to come and listen.
I tell you, let them call each other, man. We have to have a conversation. So guys, as we wind up, what would you say? What's your parting shot? Famous last words as we wind up, and we also tell people where they can reach us. I'll post some of the contacts to your social media pages. Frank, you can also tell your audience where they can reach you from, or yeah.
Okay, let me start by saying I think this disruption has been a challenging season for most businesses, if not all. And I think, again, as Kenyans, we always have a will to fight, and we can come out of this very strong. And some of the things we have discussed, I think businesses can put them in consideration for them to be able to recover their businesses. One of the things, again, employers can do is just ensure that they're in constant communication with their teams, ensuring the teams understand where the company is going, even during this season as we adapt to the new normal, and what the future holds for those employees. And I think that will hold for them as they recover, because the employee will have a sense of belonging, knowing that there's a plan. But when we keep quiet and we don't communicate with the staff and they can see there's no business going on, then what happens? We'll start losing along the way. So I think once we hold our team together, we should be able to recover from this.
Yes, but to add and say, my parting shot is to entrepreneurs, to business owners, to people running businesses, whether it's small scale, whether it's large scale, whether you want to enter, whether, like Frank described, you're in a place where now you're old. Yes, this COVID season, especially in Kenya, it has disrupted lots of stuff. But at the same time, it has created an opportunity. Opportunities for us, even for us as Aurum, to sit back and take stock and relook at processes, systems, who are our target clients, where are our costs, what can we cut down, where are the opportunities that are coming up, how can we innovate, how can we partner, how can we collaborate, and how can we move forward. Because every crisis brings an opportunity, and opportunities are springing up. The key for any business person is to know how do I take hold of them. Yes, Frank began by saying grace will end when this COVID season ends. But then again, opportunities will also arise. You can be able to collaborate. You look for ways to collaborate with your financiers, with your creditors, with your bankers, with your suppliers, with your vendors, with even the people who owe you money. You can find ways to readjust, and opportunities will be staring at you in the face. So adjust, innovate, move forward. There is always the mantra for business is that there's always an opportunity in front of you. Go for it, take hold of it, and run with it. Yes.
Wow. Thanks, Tony, and thanks, Zipporah. That's very informative. And Frank, last words before we close. Is Frank still with us?
Looks like he's hanging.
He's hanging. Yeah, maybe I can share what I've learned. I think for me, the whole season has taught me just to embrace challenges with a fresh and new. Yes, Frank, is that you? Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, looking at challenges from a new perspective, and it's not easy, because right now the financial constraint is real for a lot of people. But just to journey on, I think graciously, give yourself, be gracious to yourself, because also even leaders themselves are trying to figure this thing out. No one really understands. Everything is up in the air. So I'm learning it's important just to have a fresh and new perspective towards things. Keep learning, keep growing. Don't be stuck onto your new ways. Change is sometimes very painful. We don't always like it, but it's necessary. In my opinion, that's when you start to see yourself move to greater heights. Yeah. So in spite of COVID and everything that has come with it, I think the thing is also have fun. Yeah, have fun while doing it. Don't be all grumpy, biashara yangu imefungwa, I can't even do anything. I think that the idea is just stay positive, stay happy, and be glad that you're seeing a new day. Yeah, Frank, you're dipped for a minute. I hope you can hear us.
I can. Sorry about that. Is it time for me to do the closing comments?
Yes, please.
Okay. First of all, I really appreciate Tony and ZP hosting us. It's been amazing. So thank you very much, guys. Even I had to pivot today to get back into the call, get from the laptop into the phone. So this is the new life, man. You change quickly and you prepare. The one thing I just wanted to say as we close is something I'm calling relational equity. Use your relational equity well. There's contacts you have, there's people you've already done business with, there are people you've been journeying with. That's part of the community we are building. So go back to those relationships, work with those relationships, support those relationships. You give value, you will get value back. So we always use the model of sowing and reaping. Keep sowing, you will keep reaping. So you said if someone wants to get in touch with me, my name is Frank. So on frank@nehemiahproject.org, frank@nehemiahproject.org. We are huge with teaching or coaching people to do business based on God's word, based on the word of God. So we do biblical entrepreneurship. And this is the time to use that relational equity. Work with your Savior, work with your God, work with the Holy Spirit to turn around your business. He's willing to do it. So if you want to do that, feel free to talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. So as we wind up, Patrice usually gives a prayer. He blesses his community. But I always feel like there's always a place to invite God in your business. And it's usually the saving grace. Some people have just sailed through because of inviting the Lord into their business. So as you wind up, please partner with God in your business. Don't walk alone. This load is too heavy. You will fall on the roadside. So guys, we do this next week. I've actually had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you, viewers. I can see that guys have been consistent through the stream. Thank you for watching us. We'll be here same time, same place next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.